Hi, Catalina here. Coming to you today, I want to talk about the psychological and emotional impacts of carrying student loan debt along with other forms of debt. So right now I'm sitting in my Airbnb. It's the first time I've ever worked from one of my Airbnb properties. I was, coming around town doing some maintenance work and just decided I'd work from one of the locations. It's very interesting because I'm learning what is great as well as what's missing. And I think it's a great exercise for anybody who does rentals or short-term rentals to be a guest in their own place. But anyways, this has nothing to do with today's topic. Today's topic, I want to talk a little bit about you as a listener. If you have student debt or any form of debt, just understanding how you react to carrying debt and understanding that reaction in terms of how you manage it or sometimes mismanage it, right? And it's really important to be aware. And I'm sorry about that noise. I gave my dog a bone, one of those raw hide bones. So she's making a lot of noise in the background. So excuse that, but I don't want to kill her joy and take it away either. Okay, so I was asked in an interview just now to talk about some of the psychological impacts and decision borrowers have when they carry debt. So I want to acknowledge that first and foremost, the higher student loan balance you carry relative to your income, the more hardship debt has, and the more hardship it has, the more psychological of an impact it has, right? That makes sense in theory. However, there's some people that are also just don't want any forms of debt and they feel a lot of burden just from carrying debt regardless of the amount. So we're all different, but it's especially hard. It's especially hard on your real budget when you have a lot of debt relative to your income. So I do want to acknowledge that. If you think to yourself, if you're sitting in a restaurant, right, and you see someone sitting across the restaurant from you, and all of a sudden someone starts choking, like holding their throat, like turning purple, is your impulse in that moment to go over and give that person the Heimlich maneuver, or is your impulse to run or to like, oh my God, why is this happening? I don't want to be here right now. Like, is your response a fight or flight response? Because me personally, I have the fight response. So I use that example because that did happen to me. I was in a restaurant and people at this table were just watching this person choke. There were 5 other people at this table. And they didn't do anything. They were just like looking around like, what should we be doing? And I saw this person turning purple. So I run over and give them the Heimlich maneuver, even though I knew nothing about giving the Heimlich maneuver. The person positioned my hands down more and I did it again. And they were able to start, the things in their throat came up and they were able to start breathing again. But I use that as an example of I'm a fighter. And that's really important to understand when you deal with money and finances, and debt especially, is because if you're a fighter, you might be a person more apt to go out and watch YouTube videos and get a solution. But if your emotional response to trauma or hardship is to flee, and it's that flight response, then know yourself, because you may want to just deal with your finances by not dealing with it, or prolong dealing with it. We call it procrastination, right? And so knowing how you respond to a hard time really helps you understand your likely response to debt. And and I'm not trying to say everybody who's a fighter deals with that differently. I'm not trying to make a generalization, but I am saying it's very good to know yourself and know how you deal with hardship, because that will help you understand if you should be more proactive in dealing with your finances. Because I am such a fighter, For me, when I was told you can't afford a house, I wanted to fight the system. I wanted to figure out the rules, figure out how I was going to do it. I was going to fight. I was not going to let them tell me no, right? So just knowing that, because a lot of people will, in the same situation I was put in, would just kind of clam up, freeze up, and never apply for a mortgage again for 7, 10 years, because they just keep on repeating the memory of, oh, the last time they told me I didn't qualify. The last time they told me I didn't qualify, so I'm not going to apply again, right? And they want to like flee from a rejection, a denial, or a hard time. So just know who you are and how you respond to negative emotions, right? Because money can be it can trigger a lot of these emotions. And if we're not aware of how it's triggering us, then we can't prepare ourselves to more appropriately deal with our finances. So I wanted to address that, but there's one other thing I wanted to address in today's video. I was watching a news show yesterday that says, normally the trends for increasing the amount of consumer debt people have when it's near the holidays, like November, December, the amount of debt people get in goes up. And then around March, April, May, people start to pay it down, right? They start to pay their debt down. This is the first year in many years, even through the pandemic, in which people are not paying their debt down because of the cost of gasoline and the inflation we're going through. People are actually getting into more debt. I say that right now because I want you all, my viewers, to just be aware of your spending trends. How are you spending? Are you being proactive? What are your goals? Is how you're spending and your behavior towards money, is it in line with what you would like to achieve in this year and beyond, right? So I know the national trends, and that is consumer debt is increasing. So I just wanted to put that out there. Additionally, for this video, I'd like to put out there kind of a tip that I use to manage my own money. There's a couple good apps, but what I like to do in a very basic way is I like to be accountable to how much I'm spending on a monthly basis by, as soon as I spend, not just using Mint and letting my credit card statement document how much I'm spending this month, but being very proactive about entering into, it could be an app, it could be a spreadsheet, it could be anything, but basically being very proactive about entering what I'm spending, categorizing it, and being very aware of how I'm spending my money. For me, in doing this, like a core goal for me and my spouse is like, we want to spend more on groceries than eating out, for example. And there's a two-pronged reason for that. It's because we eat healthier when we buy groceries, but it's also because groceries help us. It's a budget line item in which we would spend less than if we go to a restaurant. We'd eat healthier. It helps us maintain our budget and helps us take care of ourselves better. And for us, like, we know months we spend more on restaurant is probably a month where our spending is a little tilted, and we're aware because we categorize and see the chart of our spending immediately. So it helps us kind of make better decisions for our life and our health, and trying to align what your values are with how you're spending your money. That's really, really important. If you value something like self-care and you want to give yourself massages, nothing wrong with that. But just whatever you need for yourself, it's okay to just budget and plan for it, right? So I put that out there because I know it's a rough time in our economy right now. Inflation and gas prices are really high, and we're coming into hard times. So I just wanted to make this video to let you all know that I'm with you, let's take care of ourselves through this time. And I acknowledge that managing student loan debt, any form of debt and finances, is very psychological, and knowing ourselves will help position how we proactively spend or not spend our money, and make plans that align with where we want to go and our future goals. Of course, I'm the founder of LoanSense, and we help people specifically make student loan decisions, but we do know student loan decisions are very much correlated with mental and psychological health. And so if you do need help with your student loans, though, we are on standby. You can get a free, absolutely free plan at myloansense.com. We're on standby. Let us know if you have any questions. Comment below. Please subscribe, like, and share this with anybody you think this would resonate with. Have a good, happy rest of your Wednesday.